What's good? Welcome to First String Podcast. On today's episode of First String Podcast, we're going to look at the West Coast offense versus the Air Coryell's offense, or versus Air Coryell's offense as well. We're going to look at the Eric Bieniemy with the West Coast offense. We're also going to talk a little bit of. It's been about a week now since the NBA draft. How do we feel about the players that we drafted? The NFL is not playing with this gambling. We're going to weigh in on that, and we're going to take a look at a little bit of Major League Baseball before about a week or so before the All-Star break. Y'all ready to go? Y'all know how we do. Let's get it.
Yeah.
First String Podcast. Yeah. Q Danny. Dre on the beat. You know. Yeah. What's your favorite squad? Tell me who you going with. First String Podcast. Yeah, we keep it lit. We got the latest updates. We don't pump fake. Like, comment, share. We don't care. Feel free to hate. We got great guests. Join us. You should chime in. Houdini on the intro for the time being. Lady A, representing Washington. Pick Washington, everything Washington. Mo coming out of Dallas, you know the business. Said, them Georgia Bulldogs ain't quitting. Yeah, if you ain't watching sports, you ain't living. About to get my mattress Mac on, about to bet a million. Let's talk about it. We all grown and cool, we can talk about it. Before we hit the news, we gon' talk about it. Oh, you wanna bet? Let's pop about it.
Pop about it. Yeah. Welcome back to First String Podcast. Do not forget to like and subscribe to First String Podcast. Give us that good thumbs up. Hit the bell to enable alert for new content just like this right here. And the most important part, in my best said voice, don't forget to tell a friend about First String Podcast. All right, cool. It could be very beneficial to you coming up in the next couple of weeks if you tell a friend about First String Podcast as well. Let's get the squad in here. Y'all know how we about to do. Say it. How are you, bro?
What's going on, my brother? What we doing?
I'm all right. How'd I do the voice? Did I get it? Wasn't even close, huh?
Yeah, you did a good job.
Okay, great. Lady A's coming in hot, but right now we got the 100% that brings 100% of the ladies to the show. She keeps our lady viewership up. Well moisturized. Aunt Mo, what's good, man? How are you?
My man.
I don't know, man. Sid that took that hat off, man. You know, ladies like it smooth. You know what I'm saying?
They like it smooth.
Smooth.
Hey,
And they like it slow. But that's all another situation.
Right.
How
Yeah.
y'all doing, man?
We good, man. How are you?
Man, my laptop ain't working. Anybody know how to fix laptops or can tell me how to get this laptop restarted? Please.
That dude right there. That dude right there.
Bro, my MacBook, it's like it's almost like the touchpad don't work on it, and it won't allow me to restart it.
I don't
That's your first mistake right there. It's an Apple.
It's Apple.
Man, come on.
And you know I'm pro Apple.
I'm just telling you the truth. I don't usually work on Apples. The rest of them I can work on. I use it with Apple.
All right, listen. Let's say what's up to everybody in the chat. We got Bruce Glass first in the building. He's back and doing his job. Bruce is in the building, yes, sir. We got Droopy in the building. He says good evening to everyone, and he said what's up to Bruce. And then, of course, we got our guy Dump Truck Don in the building. Don is ready. Now, I got a preview of like 4 different questions from Don that could be asked, but I'm not quite sure which one he's going to give us just yet. And that's not going to be this Saturday because just a little small programming alert. We will see you guys next Thursday. No Saturday show, no Tuesday show. So we'll see you next Thursday. We want everybody to be safe.
July 6th.
Okay, never mind. Okay, I was gonna say my birthday's the next Thursday.
Yeah. So we're gonna take a nice little vacation. We want everybody to be safe. Don't hold fireworks in your hand. If fireworks are legal to be played with, keep your kids and everybody safe. You know, we want everybody to come back safely after this great weekend that we're about to celebrate. Now, listen, this next co-host has been vacationing, and let's see how tan she is Hello, Lady A.
Not at all.
Stella.
No,
Stella.
Stella got a groove back.
Stella. Come on, girl.
No,
Come
no
through
Stella.
with the braids.
No
Box
Stella.
braids.
But I'm not tan. I don't know why you keep saying that.
Because you
you
look like
you,
you're
you is you is a little almondy though.
You're a little almond right there. You're a little almond.
It's a little almondy. It's a little almondy.
I come back, cut all his hair off.
Yeah.
A little almondy. A little almondy.
Look. The sun must be working where you were.
And then I got Dawn talking about it too.
Yeah. See?
You got a little glow.
See, Dawn, she is.
See, even Don sees it.
Even Dawn said it. Dawn said
getting back to your roots, getting back to your people.
Yeah, she was getting real light skinned for a minute.
She was all the way over there. I ain't even.
She was getting real light skinned for a minute.
I wasn't.
So listen, would you like to do this service announcement, Lady A?
Which one? Oh my God, I don't know yet. I don't know firsthand. So
that's been out for like 2 years now. You gotta cover yourself,
bro. No, Lady A has something.
I mean, apparently, the ladies make bad decisions when men are around that are wearing this particular cologne. They did not offer me any money. This is not a paid
advertisement. What cologne is that?
Look, say it now.
I mean,
Dior Sauvage.
Yeah, boy, you know, I don't know. That's why I asked. Say it. You remember the T6 dreads? She used to work your route. Black chick.
Yes.
What was her name? Moore. She might have been. My last name might have been Moore too. But anyway,
don't say names.
She followed me around, like smelling me. Like she followed me. I had that on, and she was like,
"Oh, so Aunt, you wore that cologne?"
Yes, and I turned around and said, "What are you doing?" She was like, "I'm sorry, that cologne."
Listen,
that smells so good.
Fellas, this
like,
right here makes women make bad decisions.
Allegedly.
It makes them make bad decisions.
Allegedly.
That's right. Disclaimer.
So Lady A said,
Dior.
She said, "I gotta try it."
Allegedly.
She said, "I gotta try it." So, she's ready to make bad decisions. Bad decisions from this about. All right.
So look, Pickle let us know if people been following him around. But hold on, Don. Don is about to. He at that line. He like, I want to go in timeout.
Don, you might be older though.
Don over here being messy.
Hey, you might have hit the nail on the head with that one.
I'm just saying it was reported that this
I won't speak on it. But,
whoa. Whoa. Wait
fellas,
a minute.
Fellas, run out and get yourself a supply of it. Get yourself a supply.
Wait.
No, according to Don, we need to go the opposite direction. We need to get some cool water.
Man, what you know about cool water?
Does he go back to cool water?
Cool water still a cool while you play it.
Hey, it's still formidable.
It's
yes.
not make a little bit farther with nobody that obsession.
Oh,
hey,
now. You know about
that obsession always. Hold on.
What you know about that juke?
I wasn't the biggest Juke fan. I wasn't the biggest Juke fan. I wasn't the biggest Juke fan. Yeah.
Y'all was wearing what's that other one? It was green.
That Lacoste?
No. It was
Oh, you talking about
everybody was wearing it.
Nah, not me, if it was cheap.
But no, I mean, you would have been like a teenager when it was popular.
Oh, back then I was flexing. I just had muscles back then.
Do you see what Don
said? That Jacor
yeah.
Noir. Yes.
Drake Hard.
Yeah.
Hey, but then that makes me think of Drake Hard.
Don knows, man. Don is you man. Come on, man. Y'all know Don know. Y'all know Don know. Almost knocked the whole table over. All right.
What?
So
you got that cologne on already?
You doing it to yourself?
No.
Yourself?
Wait, Aunt.
He smelled himself and said, "Whoa.
Hold on.
Calm yourself down, buddy."
Not quite yet. Okay.
Get out. Go somewhere.
All right. So let me give a shout out to Commanders Podcast, and Steve did a quick slant, which was like a quick video for them, like my if video. He did a 20-minute video on Air Coryell versus West Coast offense. So just to make this a little clearer, Ron Rivera is a product of two different offenses. Air Coryell offense and the West Coast offense when he was with Andy Reid. His offensive coordinator, Scott Turner, is a product of the Air Coryell offense. He got it from his dad, which was a lot of 7-step, 8-step drops.
Mm-hmm.
So in this quick slant that Steve did from Commanders Podcast, he broke it down. He researched it for about 2 weeks, and we'll have him on not the 4th of July Tuesday, but the 11th. That is, he'll be on and he'll give it to us a little bit better than I'm gonna give it to you right now. He broke it down pretty much as to one of our concerns that me and Sid had, which was our offensive line. And why the West Coast why the West Coast offense is more suited to what we have now. So I'm gonna make this really simple. In the West Coast offense, your quarterback doesn't have to have a strong arm, and your offensive line doesn't have to hold up for 3 to 4 seconds. The object of the West Coast offense is timing, get the ball out of the hands of the quarterback to the hands of the playmakers.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Right. So with that being said, just that little bit of what I told you guys. Now go back and watch Commanders Podcast. Not right now. Watch the quick slant, and you'll understand a little bit better of what I'm talking about. Plus, we'll have Steve on later. What do you guys think of that? Helping out with the offensive line, getting 2-step, and some other things that concern us about the Commanders' offensive line and the quarterback position.
Well, let me start. I'm not concerned about you guys. I think you guys are primed to make a great run. And I think y'all should not do the West Coast. Y'all should do Air Coryell. I think you guys should work the deep to short thing. I think it'll equal a lot of success, man. You gotta force that line to have to figure out how to block for more than 3 seconds. You get what I'm saying? And doing the Air Coryell is going to make sure that those guys learn a lesson and they learn it fast. You get what I'm saying? So who knows? By the time we get to the middle of the season, you guys might be clicking, blocking everything. Your quarterback, maybe he's got the jitters out of the way. You guys are primed for success, man. So I don't even see a problem with your offensive line. So, yeah, I just want to get my positivity out of the way right now. So.
No, because the rest of the season it won't be there, right?
It's not gonna be no. Well, no, it may not be. I mean, you got listen. I told you guys, I'd wear a Red Wolves hat if somebody got me one. If there's a name change, so who knows where this could go? I'm turning over a new leaf, man. I'm about to be 36, man. So it's I'm just looking at life differently, man. Who knows? The Commanders might be in my future.
He's such a grown up.
Commanders might be in this. I don't believe
future.
it. Oh, thank you, Ed. But
that was cute.
You did help me. So with the Air Coryell system, they attack deep to short. The West Coast offense makes you guard the entire 53 yards of the field. It's going to stretch you out, not just deep, but all the way out to the sidelines as well.
That's actually my approach as well.
And
yes.
Time out.
No.
No.
No, Lady A.
My goal is
to stretch her out as well.
To short.
Okay, so the both of you, time out.
Layer flat. Well, and when I say her, I'm talking about the field.
Whatever.
Layer flat.
Whatever.
Attack deep.
Time out.
Just really give it a good
corner.
Give that field a good pounding.
Corner.
Yeah. Exactly. What Ann said.
Did you see Say couldn't even say nothing to y'all? Because it was that bad.
I love what
y'all got Sid doing the beard scratch.
But you know what? Sid's looking for a piece of it. Sid's looking for a way to get in there. I don't say it by now. Yes,
but no, his first expression was like, "Oh, really?"
He said, "Oh,
All
we
right.
going to early."
That's what
All right, Lady A, we coming to you, said Lady A. What do you think about this?
Okay, so I'm actually a fan of the Air Coryell. You know, it was groundbreaking, game changing from the back in the day, and then it was like all of a sudden, oh no, you're gonna cover this whole field.
Right.
And I appreciate that. And I do feel as though it helps your wide receivers stand out. And we have amazing wide receivers, and use who you have. And I think that would be the best way for me. I really feel like that would be the best way to do that, to let them stand out, to show what they can do. And I'm careful with my words because what I was going to say is not really going to cut it on this show today.
No.
No, go ahead, just go.
No.
But I do have a question.
Okay.
Based off of what Pick has kind of laid out for us and said, put the YouTube link to that breakdown in the chat. Do you also see how the Air Coryell would work good for the receivers, but not for your offense as a whole based off of that line? And with that being said, what do you see? Is there some healthy medium maybe that you can see?
So I think that in reference to the receivers, it will help them stand out.
Hey, look who's in the chat.
Hello.
What's up, Woody?
Group, exactly. I feel like in regards to our offensive line, it does put them in. Well, it can. Let me rephrase. It can put them in a predicament. It can. Mm-hmm. But when you look at the history of this team and what they want to get to, who's going to be on that offensive line? Are you going to make them step up?
Well, I mean, don't get it wrong. Don't get it twisted. Like, even in the West Coast offense, your line has to block. It's just the way that they block and the way they set their protections, and because the quarterback is his responsibility to get the ball into the hands of the playmakers.
Right. Well, see,
it allows us to.
He's going to be looking into the backfield. He's going to be looking, far away.
That's in the Air Coryell, right?
Right, correct.
What you mean, though?
But listen,
he's gonna be looking deep. He's gonna be going deep.
So, with that said, I mean, if we still had the Hogs, I would have no problem. But we don't.
Right. That's yeah.
Time, what I'm saying is a lot of people, a lot of fans in particular, are like, we need to get to that point again. If we did, we would be amazing. However, we don't have the Hogs. So, okay, how do we handle this? Y'all know I had some issues with the line last season. If we have that line behaving in such a way, then it is going to be a weakness. So I do see issues with that, but it just all depends on how they're going to execute these plays. What is the line going to do? Are they going to step up and do what they need to do? If they do, we're good to go.
Well, I have this will get into a little. This will lead into a little bit later. But as far as this West Coast offense, I want y'all to think Joe Montana, Jerry Rice, John Taylor, Clark, Roger Craig. The origins of the West Coast, right? Joe Montana didn't have the strongest arm, but did those wide receivers show out? We know who they are.
Mm-hmm.
He's also Joe Montana.
He is Joe Montana, and it is John Taylor and Jerry Rice.
Right.
Do you think that we do not have a
you
different
don't have
kind
Jerry
of version?
Rice,
no. I'm not saying we have Jerry Rice. I'm not saying that we have Jerry Rice. But I'm saying, do we have wide receivers capable of putting up numbers the way that they did once we get the ball in their hand? And talking about Terry and Jahan.
They're capable of putting up numbers.
Sure. Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
Right.
But, I mean, and let's be real. If in fact it doesn't work, middle of the game, you're like, all right, this ain't working. we at least have some running backs that are able
facts
to handle what they need to handle as well. So I feel like when you have a well-rounded team, you can go back and forth, which is perfect.
And the only reason why I was so staunch against it, Pick, is not because those receivers aren't talented. It's when we think about the legacy of that team and those players, we think championships, not yardage or even performance metrics. It's Super Bowl. So it's like, I just want us to be kind of careful when we do that, because we talking about greatness here. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly. And one of the and say it, I'm coming to you here in a second. But one of the first things I think about when I think about the San Francisco 49ers is that drive that they had just versus Cincinnati in the Super Bowl, where they just went from inside their own 20 and scored. And, John Taylor, it's Jerry Rice that catches that slant and just takes it to the house. It's just ridiculous. That's the West Coast clicking on all cylinders. And think about it. Our offensive line last year was our weakness. And going into this year, the number one question that everyone has besides the quarterback is the offensive line. And if there's a way that you could gain confidence and that's getting the ball out early, the quick game. Think about how many times we cried last year about, not cried, but we talked about it last year. Why are they not going to the quick game? Why are they not going to the quick game? Why are we still doing 7-stop drops? Go ahead, say it.
Well, part of it is the system. Y'all do have the capability of running the system, but the West Coast offense itself has already more. No one's truly running a straight West Coast
offense, right?
Because of the running back and the RPO aspect of the running back. It's more of an RPO West Coast than it is a straight West Coast anymore, because now it makes more emphasis with the shifts and the type of tight ends you have, to make them adjust to your personnel. The Air Coryell is not a bad system if you have an offensive line that can do what they're supposed to do. That's part of the problem. That Washington offensive line at times was suspect in this scheme, and you didn't have the quarterback in at the time who could actually hit some of those guys who were wide open. But there were games where we watched, and I'm like, are they going to target, McLaurin? It's the second half. They haven't even thrown the ball his way. So, it's a twofold argument there. But I can see both sides. I can see the winning aspect of both sides, so we'll see down the line.
Yeah, most definitely.
And you guys have said it a lot, though. You can't do a 7-step drop from shotgun.
When your quarterback is gun shy.
No, you can't. That's not the object of it. You don't do drops from the shotgun, though.
Right.
So I'm just, I don't know. Anyway, there's a lot of things that need to be fixed, pretty much. And getting Scott out of there was one of the things.
Yeah, I know. I was happy.
And you just got to see what your quarterback's going to do.
Exactly.
Now, also, John Kine, listening to John Kine's report, he had Logan Thomas on, and and Logan and Fred are on the command, whatever they do. No, not command this. The Washington's little news thing that they do, their little media outlet. Not these, but those. So basically, what Logan was saying about Sam progressing in this West Coast offense is that he has picked up a lot, and then Eric's thrown a lot at him, and Sam is making the mistakes that you want him to make in practice rather than in a game. Like, he's learning now when you see a receiver flash and he's running through a zone, that's not where you need to force it at. You need to carry him through that zone and then take your eyes somewhere else. So when you see these reports of Sam throwing interceptions in practice, or he had a bad day in practice, that's where you want him to have his bad day at. Remember, I think when we first started talking about this, I think we was doing fantasy football, and Patrick Mahomes' first year as the starter, we kept hearing reports about him having terrible days in practice.
Yep.
And we, because Sid and I have been in this fantasy football league forever, and I was like, somebody's going to take that dude Patrick Mahomes, and he's going to have a terrible freaking year. And it never happened because he was making all of his mistakes in practice. That was the word. It was in practice. He is terrible. He's throwing interception after interception after interception. Well, that's where you want him at. Because come game day, he know when I see this defense, I know daggone well I can't force this ball right there like I've been trying to do all week. Go for it, Andy.
So this brings me to our conversation last year, training camp. We were talking about the Commanders. We were talking about them, all the crap that was going on in practice, and when it actually, should it change, or do we just rest on the laurels, or it's going to get better in the game? Newsflash, it didn't happen.
Yeah.
And hold on, and Patrick Mahomes is not any of these players. That's what Fred Smoot said, correct? Oh, you don't get a sack on him in the Super Bowl. But hold on, let me state my case, and I'm gonna pass it on back over to Pete. He is a generational talent, correct? So he's going to do things that make it almost impossible for defenses to succeed in certain situations with that arm and his legs. So now my question is this: at what point does it become we need to start seeing him turn the corner based off of what we saw last year and the arguments that were made that it's fine, make all the mistakes in practice, because that is true. But there has to be something that shows that you're starting to get it. What does that look like?
Okay, so you're talking about Sam, right?
Absolutely.
Okay, so they've already talked about seeing Sam from preseason through the season and then into that last game of the season, how at first his footwork was terrible, right? Mm-hmm. And Sam has improved in that, and he wasn't looking like a pro quarterback. He wasn't ready. And finally, we saw when he stepped on the field, he was ready. So what they're saying now, what I'm getting from my sources and my people is that Sam has taken on the challenge of, let me learn this offense. Let me come out here, and what I mess up today is not what I'm gonna mess up tomorrow, and I'm gonna show you improvement every step of the way here. So as far as comparing it to Patrick Mahomes, you can't compare him to Mahomes, but the comparison was
that you brought Patrick Mahomes up, sir.
Yeah, the comparison was that he only started that last game of his first season, the same as Sam.
Right.
But then going into the OTAs and everything like that, when it was his team, he was making all of his mistakes in practice. And then the other thing about that too is,
Andy Reid allowed him to come in and play during the year. He only got to start at the end of the year, but he was still playing throughout the year.
Yeah. Okay.
That's the difference. Yeah, he has to come in and
play. Okay. So what I'm trying to, you just read that too, right? So what I'm trying to say is this: is the thing about it is, a professional coach is in the building with us. Look at the way that they're practicing already, and how things have picked up.
Hold on. No, all of the coaches are professional.
My Lord and Savior.
Oh, come on.
We're not doing that, are we?
I'm just saying. He has 2 Super Bowl rings. Who else in that building has 2 Super Bowl rings?
That doesn't mean that he.
You're absolutely right, but he's seen how you do it to win a Super Bowl. That's what I'm saying.
But you're throwing shade on the rest of the coaches.
I'm not throwing shade on them.
No, you are.
No, thank you, Lady A.
All right. No, hold on. Now I want you to say something. I want you to tell me something.
Right. What?
Name a coach on our staff that has a winning record, because we have a lot of head coaches that are on our staff. Give me one that has a winning record.
But I'm sorry, but what I'm telling you, by definition, it doesn't matter. Listen, okay, I'm gonna say it this way. I heard somebody say one time, what's the difference between a doctor that finished summa cum laude valedictorian and that was a C student? They're both doctors.
They're both
doctors. Yep. These people are still professionals. They may be bad professionals.
You're absolutely right. You know what they did? There you go, right there. You know what? I'll correct myself.
I can't even say that everyone on the coaching staff is bad. And here's the reason why. If you've been in the league as a coach for 6 years, that is a professional level, and all 6 of your years have been with the Washington Commanders, does that really mean that you are a bad coach?
No, that's not what I'm saying.
Okay, so that's
so let's be specific here. Let's be specific here then. Okay, I'm gonna be specific. Our head coach, Ron Rivera, if you look at the odds, pull the odds up for me, please.
Okay, but we already know
what's the odds of this guy getting fired, and I can tell you right now, they're already probably he's going to be.
That's what you guys want, though. So that's not even a fair assessment.
What I'm saying is this. What I'm saying, what my point about this being is, and we've had guests on here that would like the opportunity to be head coaches, that deserve the opportunity to be head coaches, that can't get a head coaching job. We have an offense coordinator that can't get a head coaching job, but yet and still the Jeff Fishers and the Ron Riveras keep getting jobs in their mid.
So if you have an issue with the head coach, you don't take it out on all the coaches.
I'm not taking it. I don't mean to take it out on all the coaches, but what I'm saying is what you've done, what you have done, and what you keep putting in place does not work. That's my point of it, and the way that you run it. So when Eric Bieniemy is coming in and he's running it, and this goes into our next topic here, and he's running it the way the Kansas City Chiefs are running it. I'm not saying we're gonna get Kansas City Chiefs results right now, but it's different.
I'm not even on that.
But it's different, and it's being run differently.
This is my thing, Pig, and I've never made this argument, but you're forcing me to. I almost believe that if they're successful this year, number one, it makes me question if you really want them to be successful or if you just want Eric Bieniemy to step in. That's number one. You don't have to defend that right now. But Ron did say a 3 to 5 year window on what he was going to do. I've heard somebody say on the last podcast, and I believe it was either you or Corey, that he's actually putting the system in place for it to work at the very right time. I almost feel like it's unfair to Ron, Alzheimer's or not, whatever he's supposed to have going on, to just be ready to whisk him out the door if he's almost been put in a bad position, giving the ownership and everything that's been put in place. So I'm not a Commanders fan, but I'm just like, yeah, is the 15-1 kind of bloviated his resume? Absolutely. Mm-hmm. But just let's see what happens. Because if y'all do have success, is it a product of him putting this system in place? We don't know what that system actually looks like. Or is it just because Eric Bieniemy came in with that energy and he's yelling at people and that makes a difference? I'm more likely to believe that there's a system that he put in place that is starting to let itself kind of come around versus Eric Bieniemy is just the savior, put him in place. That's all I'm saying.
So let me respond to that. And in regards to Ron Rivera, I think that he's a good person to have with our organization. Should he be head coach? No. Should he be a part of the organization? Yes. Ron Rivera was literally brought, and this has been said on this show many times, he was brought to the team to change the culture. He has been putting things in place. I just don't feel that he's the guy to execute it. There is a way that Ron is running this team, and the way he's running this team, it needs to, I understand. I understand,
I'm
John.
Sorry. I was trying to put it up. I'm sorry. Go ahead, Pete.
I understand, John. I understand because I do agree that with you, and Ron did. He put some things in place. He has changed the culture, but we had a very long way to go. Is he the right person to start it off and to kick this off? Yes. Is he the right person to finish and make sure that we execute in the way that we should? I don't think so. But I do feel as though he should be with the organization in some capacity, if that's possible. I just don't think he's a good head coach.
I also disagree.
There's a lot of
disagree that y'all may have a long way to go. I also I also disagree that y'all have a long way to go.
No,
I don't think we have
from when he came in, we did. We had a long way to go because think about it. He's already been here
4 years.
Time.
This is the fifth year right here.
We're still not quite. We're like almost there. You know what I mean? And he may be at his end as far as being a head coach. Because
I got one for you real fast,
more than what he already has.
I got one for you right here.
Okay.
Tony Dungy in Tampa. He got that team to where they were.
Well,
right?
he did get the team.
That's not a good example.
He was good.
But that's not a good example. Yeah, and I'm like, that's not a good example because that
he was a really good coach. But that was Tony's team that John Gruden took to the Super Bowl, or they took him to the Super Bowl.
It was his team, but in I feel like the difference is that Tony could have stayed and still gotten them there. Ron, in my opinion, if Ron leaves, we may have a better chance.
I think that, in just my opinion, I think that John Gruden is that coach that's like, right now, I need you to do this right now. This is the urgency right now, right?
Okay.
Has he done it multiple times?
And Tony Dungy. No, he has the Super Bowl with Tampa with Dungy's team.
I don't know if that's true. You like, it's almost like, is it the chicken or the egg? That it's just that argument. Like, no, seriously, it's like, well, was it Tony Dungy's team, and then they just needed this
that little push? They just needed that little push.
But we don't know if that's true, is what I'm saying, though.
Well, I know this. I know John gave Tony the credit for that team.
We can look at Jimmy. Jimmy had already got it done, and then they bring in Barry. Barry was just standing there. He didn't do anything to make that team more valuable or capable. They were built to win already. And we already know what happened, and we already knew what happened with him and Jerry. So that had more to do with it. So I'm saying sometimes I don't know if it's necessarily that Chucky was the guy who stepped in and that's just their final push. Because what did he really do? He just let those now what hold on, I will say this. What I did hear is that he let them do what they did. It was kind of just like, all right, is this the zoo? Okay, well, the lions, they eat this, and then the hippos, they kind of you get what I'm saying? And it's like Tony was more of a like, hey man, we're doing this every day type of thing. Sometimes you gotta just let the inmates run the prison.
Go, lady.
So I feel like this. Ron, he built a team, right?
Yep.
He built a team with a lot of good people.
Yep.
Now, how many
a lot of pro players.
How many times have we literally said that's not on the players, that's on coaching?
We say that a lot.
Okay.
With your team?
With any team.
Oh, with any team? Okay.
With any team. So with that
depends on what we're talking about for sure.
Ron has built a good team, a good culture. But is he the one that's going to coach them to a point where we're like, okay, that's Ron? Or is it that you built a good team, but you can't get them there because it's going to be bad coaching? Ron, real talk, he can make some good decisions on one hand, and then on the other hand, very poor decisions that will cost us the game. That will cost us the game, cost us a spot in the playoffs, things like that. So he can make good office decisions. But when it comes to winning and getting this team to where they need to be to win, I don't think he's the person.
He needs a front office job.
Why would you let Scott stay in there so long?
Why would you not take play calling responsibilities away from Scott and give it to someone else? By the way, who was there to give it to? Who was going to call the plays? Everybody kept saying that last year. Who's going to call the plays this year? They haven't really put it out yet for the Commanders yet. I guess they're waiting for July 20th with the new owners.
But know who's going to
we do. We know that Eric Bieniemy's calling the plays, but one of the other most important positions to highlight is the quarterbacks coach, which is a new quarterback coach in the NFL. We have him, and he's working with Sam. A lot of people, well, especially me, was like, well, what is Sam Peasy doing? Because where's the development? Well, he did develop Sam a little bit, but I think that Sam will develop a lot more with the new coach, the guy they met when he was at Stanford. I'll get his name. I'll have it here in a minute.
What do you see the development based off of? You saying like the reports of his footwork was bad, it got better, that type of stuff?
His reading
basing it solely off of the game.
His pre-reads, his pre-snap reads,
But
everything is.
Sam wasn't developed before. I'm gonna be honest with you. I can't go by that because why? Ron didn't want Sam to play in the game. We don't know how well Sam was under the last quarterback coach.
That's a good point. Yeah,
So
That's an excellent point.
We can't blame
because
the quarterback coach.
to Lady A's point, a bunch of other people, they said Sam looked good for a while, actually. You know what I'm saying? So, and even though, and I know you're not doing this intentionally, but it was said, and Anthony who was saying this offensive line is an issue. And it was said, and Anthony who said, what do you got to lose? Put Sam in. Like,
what do you mean it was said in Anthony? Oh, you forgot about Lady A.
Well, but I'm saying you already were in the know about that. So you get what I'm saying? Okay. So I'm saying, as far as the people who aren't Commanders fans, I'm saying we both kind of tag team that thing. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. I mean,
because when me and Sam both get a hold of it.
My thing is, when Ron is, maybe it was emotion, because like Don said, Scott Turner was there just too long. I mean, was that your homie, and that's why?
What's up, Michael Harris?
Hey, Michael. What was it? You know, why did you go back to Carson when Carson clearly wasn't it? You know,
Not
is
at all.
That your folks? I feel like stuff like that, when you're a head coach and you make these decisions that definitely brings your team down, and you're defending those decisions, you gotta go. You know? You gotta go.
But to your point, though.
I'm sorry, Lady A. I'm sorry. You
right,
said
I'm about to say,
I thought Pick was reaching for that box. I'm sorry.
What?
Lady A said bad decisions. Your arm moved. I thought you were reaching for the box.
Up the box again.
But to your point, though, but to this point, Lady A, nobody was going to be able to do that Air Coryell besides that quarterback, though.
Who, Carson?
Yes, he was the only guy capable.
No. That's what I was trying to tell y'all from the beginning. Sam has a good arm.
Sam has a gun. He has a live arm.
No. Y'all are missing it. I'm saying going into the season, you weren't thinking that you were going to start Sam Howell to make prominent. So that's what I'm saying. So I'm saying going off of the guy who had the money, going off of that first game we looked at, remember they weren't playing so well. Bam, he hits Jahan, and then the game starts turning. He hits him deep. So so I'm saying he was the only guy that we knew of at that time that was capable, that had the arm. You know what I'm saying?
But
that
by
had
the time he put him back in,
yeah, he was already gun shy and beat up then.
But not even just that. Like you kept pushing the issue. You kept trying. At some point, as a head coach, you got to make the difficult decisions. That's the problem with leadership. You have to make difficult decisions, and you have to choose the right one, or people gonna be looking at you sideways. That's what happens.
And that's the thing, is because if you keep making poor decisions, you're gonna lose the locker room.
Yeah, and he made two decisions. Well, not two decisions. He made a poor decision when he was asked about the poor decision and how it affected the team. Then he played the geriatric card.
What?
Playoffs?
Oh, I didn't know.
We don't know if we're eliminated from playoffs yet.
What? We're eliminated?
Right.
What if he was trolling the whole time? You ever thought?
No, he wasn't trolling.
That was not the time, because
you cost your whole team money.
I was like, oh, really? You know,
you cost your coach's money.
This is the thing, though, guys. Can you say that when at the end of the day you're still supposed to go out and win games? Like, you can't, like, whether you know or not, what's the objective of going out here every Sunday? Get a W.
That's what I'm saying.
Like, but I'm saying
he made it worse.
So it's not like he was but what I'm saying is, it's not like you're going out there and he's like, you know what? Just pull everybody. It doesn't even matter. Like, that wasn't the case.
Here's the thing. His decision cost us the game. Okay, because real talk, had Taylor played that game, we probably would have had a better chance of winning. So you put Carson in. And so that was an issue already, right? So it's bad enough that we lost the game. You didn't go in that game to win. And your when you're asked about it, to add insult to injury, oh, we had a chance at the playoffs.
Yeah, how do you not know that? Like, how did I bet you his secretary knew that they had a shot at the playoffs. I bet you she
janitors, everybody knew.
Let's say in a perfect world, Ron's job was to be completed. Let's say you could look ahead and you could say Ron's job will become fully completed after 5 years, right? So he'll put everybody in position, he'll change the culture, and then moving forward, there's a new coach that'll step in, whether it's Eric Bieniemy or whoever else, to get the job done. Would y'all not accept that? If that means that they were in prime position to win at that moment, because let's be honest, they weren't in no prime position. You said it from the beginning, Lady A. There was a lot of issues. No, they weren't. Lady A said from the very beginning of this tenure,
if we beat Cleveland,
we're not talking about now. We're talking about
we win either of the Giants games last year, we're in the playoffs. That's 4 teams.
When Ron got here, we had a bad culture,
right, and a bad team.
It was a problem. Ron has improved some of that, but it goes back to what I was saying, Aunt, in reference to Ron and making those difficult decisions. Someone above Ron needs to now make the difficult decisions because Ron ain't it.
Right.
Just like did he have GM capabilities too?
Hey, and
yes and no. He was
he was the final decision maker. He was the final decision maker. So he had no boss.
Sound like GM capabilities now. Coaches ain't supposed to be able to say hire and fire. They're supposed to say coach and coach.
On paper, he was not the GM. That's why it's kind of like weird with that. But
yeah,
I will say that at some point you have to, just like the coach has to go into every game and his objective is to win. Right? That's the object of you playing. You want to win. Leadership for any organization in the NFL, when you go into a season, you're trying to win. That's what you're trying to do. If your head coach is not it, if your head coach has literally single-handedly made a decision that has caused you not to win, not just one game, but to enter into the playoffs, we have a problem.
I got a question for Ant.
What's up?
Okay. So Dak Prescott is healthy, right?
He
gets hurt. Hold on. He gets hurt. Cooper Rush comes in, right? The team responds to Cooper Rush because he is bringing that motivation. He's bringing that juice, right? They say that, okay, well, Dak is now back healthy, and Cooper hasn't really done too much to lose his job. He's maintained. He's had a little struggles, but he's maintained. And then you see your team react in a negative way to the starting quarterback coming back, and you stay with it. Does your head coach survive the week with your owner? After he just saw
that happens all the time. Listen, this is a circumstance that you have to keep in mind. Are we winning and then you saying the other guy comes back and then we start losing? Because that has a lot. That's not just about.
No, I'm talking about the team. The team itself, like when we had
Taylor,
they're
in a bad mood.
Like the team's energy is gone.
No. I want to know exactly. I want to know exactly what he's saying.
Bro. Like yes. I'm saying the team had energy. The team had momentum. They had juice. They had life. And then, here comes that, and they react negative to him.
But it was the owner the owner is one of the ones that wants Dak in there. So
and this is the thing too. I'm not paying you guys to tell me who I should put on the field. And a part of making those tough decisions is saying, who do I really believe is the person for the job? It's not based off of what these grown men feel.
I know what you're saying, John.
Well,
so that's just where I'm at.
Here's the thing. We were losing with Heineke, but not really.
But and that was San Fran.
we can't move goalposts like that now.
No, that was San Fran. We played that.
We responded to John.
We're responding to John.
We were losing with Heinicke, but not really. Heinicke got us to the point where we were a contender for the playoffs. That's
you're losing though. You can't say we're losing,
so,
but not really.
So if you
lost that position when Carson went into the game, that's what I'm saying. First of all, when you have these two quarterbacks, if the choice has to be between Carson and Heinicke, Carson and Taylor, you got them right there. You choose the lesser of the two evils, okay? And he did not. And then whole time that all of this was going on, you got Sam in the cut that you're purposely not giving an opportunity to. What do you have to lose by putting Sam in and having Taylor as the backup? Because Taylor, let's be real, Taylor did better than Carson.
Than Carson did. He did.
Well, you know what you have to lose, and this is what we can't never not take into consideration: your ego and your pride. We already identified a long time ago. We already identified a long time ago the reason he brought Wentz back in. And I think it was Candy who said it. You want to be right about your guy,
right?
And you never know. But you never know the moment when it may or may not click. So you gotta almost have to ride it out.
That moment when he threw that swing pass to the dirt told me.
But hold on, we're not gonna act like Heinicke wasn't out there looking like your little brother out there.
No. That particular game, Carson looked like an entire train wreck, for real. Heinicke didn't. He was not playing like that. You could, and my thing is, during the game, people were like, "Just take Carson out."
And he would
put Taylor in. Take Carson out. The people were. I was at the game. People were chanting.
I feel you on that. I just think that we got to be careful with some of that intangible stuff. I think some of that stuff is a little overdone sometimes.
Yeah, I think we murdered this. I think we murdered this topic right here. I think we did a great job. Now I'm going to reply to a couple of comments before we move on to the next topic.
We still also got time to get our OG in.
Okay. Yes. All right. So John here says that under Dan Snyder, a lot of owners, successful coaches have failed, and you're absolutely correct. A lot of successful coaches. I'm just going to name one: Joe Jackson Gibbs.
Mm-hmm. But see,
like Dan did stuff like mess with his
back.
Right. He did stuff like mess with people that Joe wanted to bring in by giving them an hour to answer on contracts. Right. So don't forget he did stuff like that behind the scenes too, John.
Yeah.
Still means nobody's really got a good opportunity to be successful under that guy.
That's true.
Yeah. He said Ron here, what is it? Ron's mediocrity.
Ron's mediocrity,
yeah. And the fact that you don't know the situation. You want your players to know the situations, but you don't know the situations. Like I said a long time ago, that's a fireable offense. And he called Ron Rivera's Jeff Fisher 2.0, which is absolutely right.
He ain't even that, because Jeff Fisher won a Super Bowl, didn't he?
There you go, right there. Ron ain't never.
No, Jeff Fisher does not have a Super Bowl.
You know what I'm thinking about?
Ron ain't come close.
I'm thinking about the guy from
Ron. No, both. They both went to a Super Bowl and lost.
No, I was thinking about the guy with the mustache for Pittsburgh, the older guy.
Oh, okay. I know what you're talking about. You're talking about
I was getting them confused. I can't think of his name.
Spit all over the place. I know what you're talking about. He's on CBS. He's on CBS.
I got him mixed up.
We were losing with Heinicke, but the team had juice, John. The team had juice. They had a purpose.
We addressed that comment already. You know, he was referring to.
Say it. Are you ready?
Put Heinicke or Wentz back in.
Yeah. Say it. You ready? The NFL in the gambling. So as you guys already know, they have come out with some more people that are suspended for the year, 6 games. Say it. What we got?
Man, we already knew they was gonna put the hammer down, especially on Isaiah Rodgers from the Colts, because he bet on Colts games, so he deserved everything they're gonna give him.
There you go.
It actually was 4 people that were suspended. Isaiah Rodgers, Rashad Berry, and Demetrius Taylor got indefinite suspension. It means it's going to be at least a year.
Their response.
Said, what do we got to do? What do we got to do for these players to understand that they're not allowed to gamble in facilities? And from what I'm understanding, right? And somebody help me if I'm wrong here, but you know what's that saying? Where 2 or more meet, there's church. So, right?
Whoa. Where 2 or more gathered in his name, he's there in the midst. Is that what we're trying to say?
There we go. That's what I'm trying to say. And I know you got me. And so
Yes,
look, so when the teams go to a hotel, that then becomes a team facility, correct?
Right.
So you can't go to your room and get on FanDuel or your Bet Rivers or your whoever app. You can't do that then because now this is a team facility. You can't go from the locker room to the parking lot because you're still on team property. Because from what I've seen, these guys, their parking is on team property. I mean,
and that's why Nicholas Petit-Frere only got 6 games because he bet on a non-football game in a NFL facility.
Right.
Meaning that it wasn't an NFL facility, but
it was an organization.
The team was there, so it becomes an NFL facility.
Right.
And like Pick always says, when God is coming and going, who knows what's really going on? So this is the problem. This is the problem with this. And I'm keeping it short and sweet.
Ant is trying to get out of here. Ant's trying to start his.
Ant quote me something. I don't know what it is.
That's what Pick just gave us. But I really do want to keep it short and sweet on this one because I have been long-winded today. The NFL is full of hypocrites. Yep. And the problem with this is I get the symposium, I get all that you try to tell these people, but they're grown men and they should be allowed. You shouldn't even be, listen, if I'm not betting on the NFL, you should shut your mouth. That's just what I feel. You should shut your mouth, bro. Like, why do you care if I'm betting on horses at the freaking facility? Bro, shut up. Like, who cares? But that is their way of trying to continue to put their knee on parts that they don't deserve to go on. It's just an attempt to control everything. But they're about to let them start smoking weed in a couple of years. I bet you that.
I think that's already on the way.
Exactly.
I think it's something that they got to bargain for. But here's the thing, though: the integrity of the game is at stake here.
Yeah.
Well,
it's
understandable, but at the same time, you can't push ESPN fantasy football sponsored by the NFL. You cannot push that and then say everybody can play with the players.
You got that right.
Well, hold on, players play fantasy football.
They can't.
It's
illegal. No. Hold on. There's a difference. There's a difference. Players play fantasy football. Players have been playing fantasy football for a very long time. Okay, what you're talking about?
You're still not listening, Pick. What I read today, they cannot play fantasy football.
The daily fantasies, right? That we're talking about now. When you set your lineup for.
I'm telling you, Pick, you're gonna make me have to pull the article back up.
You know what though? You know, hold on, say it. You know what? I may have heard players talk about them having their own leagues that they do amongst themselves, where they put up big money to do fantasy football. I just thought about that. They'll put up like 20. They all put in 20, and it's like, hey, winner gets this, boom, 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 boom. So it may be something to that for sure, but I think amongst themselves they do have certain stuff that they can do. But it also is still kind of like a hush hush kind of thing too, where they kind of like, yeah, well, we do certain things, but we don't talk on it. That's what I've kind of heard them talk about. Like,
so when they playing the same fantasy that we're playing, when they're playing the same fantasy that we're playing on Sundays, like, hey, Rob Gronkowski for 3 touchdowns sounds like a good one because this team can't guard tight ends.
Yeah.
No, that's where they're messing up. But as far as the fantasy leagues like you and I have been in for a very long time, they've been doing that, Sid. They've been doing it.
Can I weigh in from my HR perspective?
Yes, please and thank you.
So something that none of y'all mentioned. If you have a job opportunity and you take that job and you sign your contract for this job, and the job has certain stipulations, you have your do's and your don'ts for that position. You have to abide by your contract. I don't care what they tell you you cannot do. If you signed your contract, that's what you have to abide by. I don't have any sympathy for anyone under those circumstances, because if you wanted to gamble and you're playing in the NFL and you know that's against the rules, you get what you came for, because that's what you signed. You signed up for that. It's a binding contract. They can fire you if they want to because you went against the contract. It's whether we feel it's right, wrong, or indifferent. At the end of the day, these guys signed a contract that said they cannot do it. So I get it that you feel like it's unfair, but that is the unfair that you signed your name to. So they can't go against it. They can't. Now, truth be told, if they're holding you to a standard that's not written in your contract, that's different. But this is written in your contract.
Lady, I got a question for you.
Hold on, let me give you some news I just got. Shouts out to my man Bruce Glass for doing this right now. I got close
too because I want to ask Lady A face to face.
Can players participate in fantasy football? Though many won't admit to it, there are in fact many players across the league today who are participating in private fantasy football games with money at stake. So it is the daily fantasies that we play that they are not allowed to play. Go ahead and get it.
Gambling, that one. Go ahead and.
You ever printed out or filled out a resume while you were at another job?
Printed out or filled out a resume?
Mm-hmm.
Not my own.
You ever took home some pens, some paper, some clipboards, anything insignificant on that job?
No.
Oh, you're gonna sit on this HR stage and tell a story.
She's gonna do it.
We all have.
She's gonna die on that hill.
That's my thing.
She's about to die on that hill.
When it comes, first of all, I'm in HR. Okay, I cannot sit here and enforce rules that I do not abide by myself, because I have no.
That's how
because
it goes.
I'm gonna be real with you. I have worked for a company. I'm not going to name any names for this company. However, I remember someone high up got caught slipping, and that was a tragic fall from grace and from their position. So at the end of the day, in real talk, I'm not trying to say that taking a pen is the right thing to do from your job. However, taking a pen is completely different than something that was blatantly stated in your contract. In their contract, it doesn't say you can't take pens from the facility. It doesn't.
We're not talking about them taking pens. We're talking about in all of our professions and the things that we have done, that is explicitly stated as certain things. So I'm comparing something that we would have.
Saying that you cannot take office supplies from the job, from the workplace, is not explicitly stated. It's not.
That is absolutely. So why do they ask you about if you've ever done it?
They ask
every job.
Every job doesn't ask you if you have taken pens from the workplace.
Man, I've worked.
I've had to take a polygraph test for a job to get into a job, and that was not asked.
Well, yeah, I applied to be a cop, and they didn't ask me that either. But
exactly.
That stuff is definitely in there.
Yeah, right. And Don said
talking about unwritten rules. Yeah, you're talking about unwritten rules here.
I ain't talking about unwritten rules.
Well, yes, the pen thing is an unwritten rule. You don't take from the workplace. But truthfully, if you go and look at your your offer letter that you sign, because that's literally your written contract, it doesn't say anything like that. When you sign your employee handbook, if they mention anything that's similar to it, it is a blanket statement. It is not
specific. Tomorrow, because you've been cheating yourself.
You said
don't take no pens. Don't take no pens
tomorrow, because you've been cheating yourself.
And I can't take a pen. You know where I work?
We know, across the hall. In the traffic. Traffic going from one room to the other room is really bad.
But what I'm saying is that you're comparing a blanket statement or an expectation that's not blatantly written in a contract to something that is literally spelled out. You cannot do it. And yeah. Okay, so with that said, if you have a job that you can't do drugs and you do drugs and you get fired, am I supposed to feel bad for you?
Live a little.
Am I supposed to feel bad for you?
I don't think that's gonna work out the way you think. I don't think that's gonna work out the way you think.
Well, I think I'm supposed to tell them that I have a problem and go to AA or something.
But you if they do a random drug test and you get caught slipping, I'm not gonna feel bad.
Speaking of randoms,
oh Lord,
I don't know what to expect from you. I had both this morning. I had the Alka-Blow.
Most of the time, it's
a random.
You gotta do that to start your car now, man.
I had to man, not to start my car.
We got to charge, okay?
I had to do that. I had to do the Alka-Blow this morning, and I had to go number 1 in the cup. So
let me say this. Yeah. Look again from an HR perspective, Pick. Sometimes those are not that random, and then they
no. First off,
watching you, buddy.
Pig did 20 plus years in the military. Do you really think that I'm gonna get out the military and become undisciplined? Come on now.
There are some that do it.
Hey, man,
that ain't me.
There are a lot that do it.
That's not me. That's not me. First off, I wake up in the morning, I text Aunt, and I'm ready to go. That's my wake up call.
But when I said what you do, I mean, like, did you make someone angry? Pick, did you make someone angry?
No. Come on, man. I bring the energy to work. You know me.
Yeah, until you get mad.
What kind of energy? Right.
Positive energy.
He's like, hey man, you better move your truck.
Right.
I did do that. Yeah,
He forgets. It's very convenient.
Selective memory, Pick has.
Yeah, I did that, but that was a whole different situation. A whole different. Yeah, I'll tell you about it later.
It's an excuse for all of it. We got it.
It's not an excuse. It was the dude was coming this. Man, y'all gonna make me go back there again.
We heard the story.
Hold on. And he bringing that energy again.
Yeah, come on, give us all that energy. Move your truck before I drag you out of it. Energy.
Man, it got real in the field right there. All right, so that's gambling in a nutshell, right?
Mm-hmm.
Said before we go to MLB, we've had about a week to cool off from the NBA draft. Lots of trades and things like that. I want to know, how do you guys in the chat feel about your first round pick? For me, it was the French guard. I'm not sure how I feel yet. The fact that he's wearing number 0 doesn't bother me. I think the kid has a high ceiling, and I look forward to seeing him get better every year. Mm-hmm. And if he just happens to comes in and plays great, and he's a leader and can get you about 10 assists every game and about 15 to 20 points every game, I'll be happy. I'll be pleasantly surprised.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm not like no second thoughts of, man, we should have got this person. What's that guy's name again? Grady what? And what's his name? Grady what?
You talking about Sanford? I'm sorry, I'm
great. The Grady guy that had the burgundy, the Dorothy slippers, the ruby jacket on.
I don't know. I can't remember what I ate yesterday.
Oh shoot.
You're talking about the NBA shooting guard. We know what you're talking about.
Yeah. Come on, the one that be shooting.
We not slide down that street.
Yeah.
All right. Okay. So, how you feel about who Atlanta drafted, man? How you feeling now?
Man, hey, we don't know who's staying, who's going at this point. It looks like they dumping a little contract to get up under the apron to see. We got 6 guards on 7. Sorry, we got 7 guards on.
Did you say under the apron?
Yes, that's what they call it. That's what they call it. They said to
get
under the apron.
Hey, stop it, man.
Lady, you just gonna let this ride?
That's what he said. I'm not. Originally, I would be laughing too if I made it up, but that's what it's called.
I don't know what to make of that.
I can't make. Hey, you can call the NBA on that one. They don't want to slid that out there. We just gonna look under and make sure we understand we good. But anyway, I don't know who's staying and who's going at this point. I mean, because you got Trae Young.
Mm-hmm.
We need another shooter. Three of them ain't showed up in the playoffs. So
you count and say it.
Hey, one got a big contract. He's staying. They just drafted 2 of them.
Mm-hmm.
At least.
Okay.
You go take a seat
to the corner with the all caps too.
Right.
Hey, I ain't gonna hold you. I ain't even gonna hold you.
You need to go sit in that corner too.
Baby in the white dress was wearing that.
Here you go.
Them legs was, boy, mama ain't too busy. Ain't too long ago graduate from college. You understand me? Mama still go jogging. Mama doing her thing. Hey, I ain't got nothing.
Hey, she ain't got work no more. She ain't got work no more. She's like, I'm going to the gym.
Something tells me she wasn't working already. She was already set up. You understand? Las Vegas night style. But anyway, what we got here, Sid?
So
Sid was talking before he came and started doing.
No, I mean that's what I said. They traded John Collins to get up under the luxury tax. They call it the second apron of luxury tax. That's the reason why Atlanta traded John Collins. They got the special exemption. They got like $25 million in cap space off of that one deal. Mm-hmm. We signed a guy who was undrafted last year, center. He's thin, but he got major moves. He's a shot blocker. We still ain't got a shooter. And one of the guys they drafted 2 guards, which gave us 7. We need a shooter.
Got you. And Dallas Mavericks, how you feeling?
Two guys that definitely can be project-ish, but Derek the second is definitely gonna come in and contribute on defense immediately. And it can equal on the offensive end lobs immediately. He definitely needs to develop on offense. The other guy, I think he's a French guy too. But I mean, actually played in the States though. I mean, I heard somebody say they could see him being, it was one of our guys from when we went on our initial run. He didn't win a championship with us, but it was when we was like 60 wins. Whatever that forward was, I can't remember his name. But anyway, he's got some potential. So I'm actually happy about both picks, but we're just gonna have to do the work, as well as I'm hoping that we'll still make a move in free agency. So I'm happy with those. I'm happy with my picks. Yeah.
And Lady A.
Are you referring to people that we picked in the draft, or only talking about capped?
Josh, yes.
Because
Josh.
My team, who they chose in the draft, were great people, really tall guys, which is something that, we needed, but they didn't keep them. So not really sure what you're asking. I will say I have no idea what my team is doing at this point.
Okay.
I'll take that. I'm at a loss for words. You'll take that because it doesn't really quite pan out.
I got you.
We got rid of Bill, which I get that, but then you got him in exchange for Chris Paul, and then he left, and then these other people left, and I'm just going to wait to who's going to actually be on the team.
I got you. It's gonna be a tough pill to swallow here the next couple of years for the Wizards. But you gotta do it.
In the last 20,
y'all was already swallowing horse pills.
I mean, but you got to do it. I mean, but because they were constantly stuck in mid mode.
Well,
and so now they're tearing it down to go all the way down.
I think I've said this on this show before. The last time
the Bullets.
The last time they made it to the second round of the playoffs, my son, who is now taller than me, was like really little, and I took him to the game, and we had so much fun. And I can just look at my son to see exactly how long that was.
He was picked height.
First off, listen, he
was wearing pick shoe size.
The San Antonio Spurs had me and their first round draft pick stand side by side to find out who was taller, and he didn't have any shoes on, so I was taller.
You done lying?
Okay, yes.
You like Muggsy Bogues' height.
Oh.
First off, I'm taller than Muggsy Bogues. I met Tyrone Bogues.
Hold on.
I've met Tyrone Bogues, and I'm taller.
Now I gotta step in because Pick is clearly like an inch, half inch, inch taller than me, and I'm not Muggsy Bogues' height. So let's not go that far now.
I wasn't talking about you, Ant.
I know, but he's taller than me. So what does that mean for me?
It's like I'm not defending Pick. I'm defending myself.
I'm just saying, you slugging me by proxy.
Okay, Pick is a little bit taller.
He say at least let me duck first. Wait, so I'm not on the show when you say
Pick, you're shorter than Spud Webb.
I'm taller than Spud Webb.
No, you're not. Spud Webb, no. Muggsy Bogues is definitely 5'4", but
5'3".
Spud Webb was like 5'8".
I'm taller than Spud.
Spud Webb is 5'7". Right. He's my height, Pick.
I'm 5'8".
We want to thank y'all for tuning in to the First String Podcast.
We're not done yet. We're not done. We got one more topic.
He said you lying. We're not going to participate in that.
Come on,
we got one more topic said. What we got?
All right. Ladies and gentlemen, we got 1 week left until the midway point of the Major League Baseball season.
The All-Star game is upon us.
The runs are up. The pitching is beat down. The home runs are awesome. Thank you, MLB, for putting in those clocks. Nobody can sit and wait nobody out. You got to get in that box. So we throwing this pitch, you getting this strike.
Yep.
So thank you.
One time we'll get in that box.
I'm going to stay in the box.
Hey.
Right now,
beat the box up.
Ohtani for the Los Angeles Angels is leading in home runs with 29. Matt Olson from the Atlanta Braves is behind him at 26.
You knew he was going to get a Brave in there.
Of course.
From the New York Mets has 24. I'll just give you the top 5. Luis Robert from Colorado has 23. And Jorge Soler from Miami has 21. If you haven't already, it's also time for Major League Baseball All-Star voting. If you haven't already wanted to vote for your players like I did already.
Of course.
Put my Braves.
Did you just vote for Braves? Did you just vote for Braves?
The Braves are the hottest team right now, winning 13 out of 14. Anyway,
go ahead.
I was just gonna say Adolis Garcia is coming in with 20. And we have 4 or 5 starters, 3 or 4 starters in the All-Star game. So
I voted for the Rangers.
Jonah Heim.
The Rangers?
I did, yeah.
Jonah Heim.
For the Rangers to do what?
All-Star game.
Go to the All-Star game.
Hey, they on the other side of the field. If they on the same side of Atlanta, they got no votes. They on the other side.
Heim, Seager, I think Adolis Garcia, and it's one other player. So yeah. Rangers Rangers is just kind of getting wins when they can now. I'm not gonna lie, I'm kind of side-eyeing.
Oh, but listen,
I ain't
it's a long season in baseball. So when they go through these peaks and valleys, but they stay in the box though.
I mean, real talk, baseball season is like a whole 14 months long. So
the Atlanta Braves are officially 1 game back behind the Tampa Bay Rays. We were in first place, but we didn't play today, so they got to jump back ahead of us. You got Tampa Bay, Atlanta, Baltimore, Rangers, Arizona, and Miami in that top right there, going into the midway point. Who come out of
who did you vote? Who did you vote for?
For the rest of the year. Say again, Pick.
Who did you vote for?
Who did I vote for?
Who did you vote for?
Matt Olson, Acuna, Harris, Acuna out in the outfield.
Keep
Ozuna.
going.
Hey, every last one that was up there got voted, player.
I knew
every
it.
position. But see, they did it this way. They put about the position. Everybody on the team got a vote.
Sid went down the list. It was
how many times did you vote?
Only voted one time because they use the email. Right. They got slick.
Okay, so hold on.
You gotta put an email in the end and submit it.
Because of you, Sid. It's because of you.
Now hold on. Here's the important question. Here's the real important question. All right, this is for everybody and for you guys in the chat too. Did you get your Powerball ticket?
No.
Sure.
He said for sure. No.
Yes, sir.
No.
I'm sorry.
Man.
Y'all gave out more money. Y'all done gave out more money y'all ever gonna win for it.
I tell you what, when I hit that Powerball,
only need one.
Well,
that's all I need.
Come talk to me, but until the end,
that one $2 ticket I buy, that one ticket. Only need one.
That's all I need. No gambling. All right.
Hey, and we in Texas. It's anonymous. I'm gonna still be here laughing, joking. I'm gonna put it over there.
Me too.
It over there.
Is that 1,000 inch? Put my 1,000 inch up.
I don't want them to see it in my background.
Right.
Hey, the background will stay the same because it's gonna look. I'm gonna take a picture. It's gonna be a total green screen.
Hey, you know what I'm gonna do after I quit the post office? Because I'm moving over there where I work at on Brian Irvin in one of them little neighborhoods over there because they fire. I ain't gonna lie to you. Oh, it's fancy over there.
Yeah, be like, how did you find this location? Well,
don't worry about it. It's lottery
don't worry
house.
about it, sweetheart.
Hey, like we said, man, we want to thank each and every one of y'all for watching us. We will not be here on Saturday or Tuesday. Enjoy your 4th of July. We want to see each and every one of you guys back with everything attached the way you left us on Thursday night. All right. If you're going to drink, have a plan. You know, be careful out there.
It's called drink responsibly.
No. It's called have a plan. Have a designated driver.
Yeah, that's being responsible.
Right. Appreciate y'all. Make sure y'all celebrate this country and everything that we stand for over this weekend, and be safe. Sid, you ready?
Everything we've contributed.
That's right. Shouts out to my son, United States Air Force. First String Podcast, second to none. Come get some. Tell him, Sid.
Go Dogs.
Hail.
Ready for your beats? My first song from the person.